I think I found a thing. What are they called? Like a newspaper thing that has the paper version of the paper. Does that make sense? I think I found one. I'm gonna go see. I think it says $1.25. I found it! Not that this is like a good thing, but I feel like having a paper version to just have as like a memorial type of thing is a really good idea. I honestly don't know if our paper does a paper anymore. I know they have an online like publication, but I don't know if this is like normal. And I did see where it was like running low, so I wasn't sure I'd be able to find it. So yay. I think I shared that photo on my Instagram. But that's one of the little towns. It was completely underwater. Let me tell you, something that's really weird is getting back to work / getting back to normal after something like this. Like, I don't know that there will be a normal. Like, this is the new normal, I guess. And there's a lot of things that are completely abnormal right now, like the kids not being in school and things like that. But just getting back to work, like sitting down and doing things and like working on my normal job is weird a little bit, because it's like, I don't know, how do we just all of a sudden go from like emergency to, oh, it's back to normal? And it's not back to normal by any means, but it's weird because it definitely does like shift, like needs shift and things shift as you go in a situation like this. And like last week we were in emergency mode. Like when I put out my video last week, we were in literal emergency mode. Like people weren't accounted for. We were struggling with, you know, like getting supplies where they needed. We didn't have, like, we had a lot of places where cars couldn't access, and we needed like horses and ATVs and things to get people supplies. We were in emergency mode. And now it's like we turned a corner because we got so much help last week that we're still obviously needing supplies, and like people are getting supplies and, you know, things like that are happening. But now we're kind of in rebuilding mode. You know, I just left a place where the guy owns like a landscaping company, and he was able to get like culverts for people's private driveways or people's private roads, but he can't get gravel or he can't get whatever. And so like it's just a matter of like bringing people together now with the right equipment and the right knowledge base and the right expertise and collecting money that gets people to be able to get out of their homes, you know, because there's still a lot of areas where if they're young and able-bodied, they've probably created like a four-wheeler path and they're able to get out that way. But if they're elderly or something, they're kind of stuck until somebody can fix their driveway. So that's kind of where we are now, and it just feels weird to be like half helping, half working, and half back to normal, whatever normal looks like. I don't know. So I'm gonna drive through this little area, and just warning, it looks like a war zone, to be completely honest. But it really impacted a lot of communities, and this is one of the ones I know it impacted quite a bit. We're coming up on this bridge, and you can see all that garbage right there. Like, do you see all that? And over here, these people's houses were like really affected and really impacted. And right up here, there is a refrigerator in the tree. Like right over there, there's a refrigerator in the tree. Shouldn't be in the tree. What we're about to cross right now was a bridge. It is, you know, half of a bridge now. Part of it's in the creek down there. And they've been able to like temporarily fix a lot of these bridges, but they're all like Band-Aid fixes, right? Like we're still gonna need actual bridges fixed. And this is just the main road. I mean, people have their private driveways that like are just gone. All right, this up here is really, really wild to see, and I'm gonna try and go really slow. There's nobody behind me. Okay, so first of all, do you see all this like trash here? on the sides of the road. That is a house. Like, that's a house, okay? That house lived past that big white house right there. So that house came from right here, right next to this White House. Like, that's where that house was. And look at all this trash and debris on the side of the road. People are just having to get rid of all their stuff. This over here is our church, and like, you can see that there. Everything's messed up. The only way to get to our church is across a bridge that is no longer there. The bridge is just gone there, as you can see. That was the bridge to get into our church. It's just not there anymore.
Last thing that you think in your year one of business ownership is that your whole business is gonna go under.
That in a landlocked community, we're gonna get hit by a tsunami. Like, that's what it felt like.
Yes.
So you were in the store when it happened.
I was. So I knew that a hurricane was coming, but you know, up in the mountains, you just don't think it's going to hit the way that it did. I was able to get out the back door, and the water was really high, so I was kind of treading out.
Where did you go? Because the whole town was flooded.
Yeah, so about that time, even out here, it was probably up to maybe this cinder block height. And it was. To be honest, I think I am experiencing a level of trauma from Friday
that you don't
where
remember?
I don't remember much. Really, 8 to 9 days, the people that were holding up this town
absolutely
were the locals.
Yes.
It was the local people coming out, not going to their day jobs that they need to go to, but coming here to volunteer and really start the entire operations on recovery here. And thankfully, we are starting to see some level of government assistance in FEMA. I think the National Guard arrived today.
Oh yeah, I think I saw someone.
Yeah.
Like one of the big trucks.
Yes.
You know?
And so I think they're going to start taking over the operations, which will alleviate the locals from having to carry that on their shoulders.
Yes.
But as far as FEMA goes, I mean, it's a pretty tough spot for local businesses. All of our inside stuff, furniture, commercial equipment, everything is out here just as staging right now until I can get an insurance adjuster out to see. But regardless, we can't keep anything because it was class 3 water, which means highly contaminated. So even if we could turn a piece of equipment back on, because we are a food establishment, we couldn't use it.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I was majorly disconnected for especially the first few days from anything going on because I didn't have power, I didn't have cell phone signal, I didn't have internet. And when I did finally get signal and everything, I saw this one particular person's name popping up all over the place because she was just jumping in to help anywhere she could.
I'm Rachel. I'm born and raised here in Ashe County, lived here my whole life, and I was sitting at home. I don't even remember at this point if it was Friday or Saturday, but I was doom scrolling through Facebook, and I thought I can either sit here and scroll and look at all the bad things that are happening. I can try to figure out where I can be helpful, and so I put a post on Facebook and asked if anybody was doing anything, and the next thing I knew, I was doing it. So I don't really know. You could go anywhere in Ashe County without seeing a truck that had cases of water, or a truck hauling heavy equipment, or the lines of power vehicles coming from organizations all over the state, all over the country coming in. And through the job that I've done and the job that I currently have, I know a lot of people, and so it's social media. It has its drawbacks, but I think it definitely has its uses in times like this. And so I just reached out to people that I knew, and it just sort of blossomed from there. There were people bringing stuff in from other states. There are people sending money from Texas, from New York, from Pennsylvania, from Poland. Just people trying to help. So I think at this point, like there are a lot of supplies that have been brought in to help the people in the county, and those are through work with the county government, through volunteer efforts, all those different kinds of things. Those supplies are getting out to the people that need them. We are sort of shifting right now. I've never done anything like this before, but we are definitely, it feels like we're shifting kind of into rebuilding mode. And so now the focus that I'm asking people and that other people are asking people is, if you want to donate money. because there are a lot of people back in the little haulers in Ashe County that have struggled before now.
Yes.
And they don't have the funds to be able to rebuild a driveway or put in a new culvert on a private road. Hopefully they'll be able to file for some kind of federal disaster assistance through FEMA or whatever that may look like, but those people need help now. But we are working with a branch called Hope for the Mountains that is collecting any kind of donations. There's an address. We're working on digital payment. Hopefully we'll have that up and running in the next day or so. However much it is, people donate $5, they can donate $25,000. Whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you feel like you can put toward that kind of cause. But that seems to be the biggest need right now. There are enough supplies in the immediate, and if we can get people's driveways fixed and we can get the repairs done, then those people can hopefully be able to get in and out and get supplies on their own, that sort of thing. So that's really the best way that I've seen to help right now.
So I am fully aware that what I'm about to show you and explain to you is going to seem unbelievable, but I saw it with my own eyes. It's very true. And I need you to just hang with me so you can get a full grasp on how insane this was. Okay, so I am standing in a dirt road, and do you see this field, right? And all the way down to where you see those downed trees right there. The river is under there. You can't see it from here because the water levels are back down. So that's the river. That is a bridge I have to drive across to get out of my house, and it is about 30 feet above the river. When we topped the hill to try and get out this way, the day we were trying to get out, the river was not only touching that bridge, but it had filled all of this up. And I mean, from all the way over there to all the way through here, it had filled all of this up and was running into that yellow house right there. I don't even know how to fully articulate it, but you see all this garbage here in this field. I mean, this is hundreds and hundreds of feet away from the river, and that is garbage because of where it was flooded. And it was flooded all the way up here and all the way to the top of this bridge. I don't even know how to conceptualize it now, honestly. And I've lived in this area where I have to go across that bridge to get out and go home and stuff for about 5 years. And I've lived in this county my whole life. I've known about this bridge my whole life. If you would have told me that I would ever see a day where the water was touching that bridge, I would have absolutely laughed at you. There's no way. Well, let me tell you, there's a way.
I'm Heather Peters. I'm a family nurse practitioner, CrossFit coach.
I'm Maggie Birdsell, dietitian and also CrossFit coach.
Together we own Elevation Health and Ashe CrossFit.
Hurricane Helene has unfortunately impacted both of our businesses. Once the rain stopped, we actually came to check on our medical practice side, which was more prone to flooding. I opened the door, the entire gym, every square foot, was covered in 13 to 15 inches of water. CrossFit is really known as a major community, and so is Ashe County. And then the very next day we had 50 people out here helping us pull everything out of the building.
Mm-hmm. To help the community, we tried to turn our focus on that. We have one exam room now that we've kind of made a makeshift exam room to help people if they have any medical needs that aren't emergent, just to try to take that away from overloading the ER. We needed to work to our strengths. My strength is not out digging up a driveway. So, but I can help on the medical side. So there was a need for that.
We do have a GoFundMe. It was actually set up by my dad, who lives away from here, up near Washington, D.C. And we've gotten incredible support from around the country in that, and that's going to be the biggest way that people can help right now.
Yeah.
I think it's just really hard for all of us to figure out how to go back to normal, how to go back to work. It's just so weird, but we have to. We have to go back to work. We have employees to pay, we have bills to pay, we have businesses to run. But honestly, I think knowing that we're kind of in this rebuilding phase is helpful, right? Because it doesn't feel like we're leaving people stranded to go work. It feels like we have some systems in place to help take care of those people, It'll honestly take years to get back to normal. if we ever get back to normal. And I guess this will just kind of become our new normal, like driving down the street and seeing a house in the middle of the field. Or I heard on the radio this morning that, and I'm gonna get these numbers wrong, so don't quote me, but I'm close, okay? But my husband listens to our local radio and he had it playing this morning. And I believe it was like 120 minor damages to structures, 300 and some major damages to structures, and then 200 maybe, or like upper 100s, total losses of structures. I mean, that's that many buildings and houses and things are damaged and gone, and we don't have that many places here in my county. Like, we're a small county. It's not like there's like millions of houses here, you know? So to have that many damaged in some way or whatever is wild. But the cool part is we're gonna get through it. And there's a saying that we say in the South that I feel like is so freaking applicable right now. And it essentially means, like, no matter the obstacles, this thing will get done. And we say it all the time. And I feel like it's the perfect way to look at this situation. And that phrase is, come hell or high water. And I guess we're just taking that literally now.